Opinions expressed by the program host do not necessarily state or reflect the official views and position of Sunshine Radio DZR 1026 Manila, Suarosug Media Corporation, and Sunshine Media Network International.
Magandang gabi Pilipinas at sa buong mundo. Narito po akong muli, si Flores Serrano para sa 3 p.m. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, Pilipinas muna. At syempre magandang gabi rin sa ating ginagalang na Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Pastor, maraming salamat po sa pagbibigay ng pagkakataon na maging bahagi ng paglalahad ng mahahalagang katotohanan dito sa SMNI para sa Diyos at sa Pilipinas nating mahal. The art of lighting the stage consists of putting light where you want it and taking it away from where you don't want it. That's Max Reinhardt. This whole creation is essentially subjective, and the dream is a theater where the dreamer is at once scene, actor, prompter, stage manager, author, audience, and critic. That was from Carl Jung. Disenyo ng ilaw sa aming mga aktor ay napakahalagang aspeto. Ito ang isa sa pinagbabasihan namin ng pagganap or portrayal. At dito namin nakikita kapag ang aming paglabas sa entablado ba ay may kasamang drama. At isa rin ito sa aspetong pinaghuhugutan namin ng emosyon. At para naman sa manonood, ang magandang pag-iilaw ay siya ring nagbibigay ng complete human experience, kung baga. Tonight, we have titled our episode, Light Breeds Life, as we dedicate our Wednesdays to art for nation building. Sa mga nakaraang mga taon, pandemic included, ay halos lahat tayo ay nagkaroon ng oportunidad na makapanood ng mga concerts, plays, and specials on our very own home via the television sa iba't ibang level or scales of shows, local at foreign acts. Lahat ng mga palabas na ito ay may elemento at aspeto na madalas ay di natin gaano binibigyan ng pansin, pero tumatatak sa ating mga isipan ang buong experience ng panonood natin. Hindi lang po ang set ang mahalaga sa ating pinapanood. Dahil kung wala ang sayaw ng ilaw, hindi mabubuhay ang entablado or television man. At maging ang mga gumaganap ay medyo mananamlay. Our guest tonight has dedicated his life to becoming the country's #1 lights designer. He is a name that conjures images of beautifully and appropriately lighted sets of theatrical presentations, mostly in big venues like the Cultural Center of the Philippines, where he first worked in 1970, the year after this institution was founded by then First Lady Imelda Marcos. It is this sense of patriotism, coupled by his consistently credible work, had President Bongbong Marcos sought his help in lighting the country's foremost seat of power, the Malacanang Palace. Ladies and gentlemen, no introduction will be enough, so let us instead introduce our very special guest and let us get to know him better together. Ikinagagala ko pong maging panauhin ng isa sa tinitingala ko sa teatro, the light designer par excellence and stage director, Sir Monino Duque. Magandang gabi, sir.
Hi, Peter. Good evening, and thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, sir. Sir, 1970. That was what?
50-something years.
50-something years ago. 52
yeah.
or 53 years ago. Lights designer ka na that time. Was that your first job in CCP?
Yes, in a sense, it was because although I joined the CCP as a assistant technical director to then the only lighting designer, Teddy Hilado. Okay.
Oh.
So he was my boss, and part of being the assistant technical director, I had to support him in all the productions that he lit, which was practically all the shows at the CCP. So from the very beginning, I was already exposed to lighting.
So, sir, assistant technical director ka
Yes.
that time.
Yes.
So, how many years did you do assistant technical job before you became the main lighting director?
Halos sabay, Peter, kasi although I was only assisting Teddy, there were occasions that I had to light it. And I will tell you a story that I think changed the course of my career. We were doing the lighting. Teddy was lighting the Christmas show for the CCP dance company, later called Ballet Philippines.
Oh,
okay?
so CCP dance company siya, sir, before Ballet Philippines.
CCP dance company,
Oh.
yes. Before that, it was also called the Alice Reyes Dance Company before it became the CCP Dance Company, which started when it opened, the CCP opened. They became the resident company.
Okay.
So I was lighting, Teddy was lighting that Christmas show, and I had to help him. I had to stay with him every night to watch the setup, so that should anything happen, I was there to help. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, 2 nights before the show, nagkasakit siya.
Oh, okay.
So he could not do the show.
Run.
He could not do the run. So I was duty bound to take over. Okay. And I did not know ballet. I didn't know at that time how to use the equipment in the CCP. So on the night I took over, and on the night of that performance, much to my disappointment, I was asked to announce by the then President Tita King Casilag to say that, ladies and gentlemen, before the performance, this evening show is not lit by Teddy Hilado.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So parang iniinsulto ko ang sarili ko, which I thought was a very humbling experience, because that really, I told myself, okay, sige. That pushed me to really study it well, and I believe that started my career as a lighting person. And I took over as head of the theater operations, which included about 5 or 6 theaters at that time, when Teddy was moved to the folk arts.
Oh.
When folk arts opened, Teddy had to be theater director for folk arts. Sabi ni Teddy sa akin, Monino, ikaw na bahala sa CCB, kaya mo na yan. So you do the running of the CCP Technical Theater Operations Department. You head it. And ako pa rin ang boss mo, but I will leave you to do what you feel is important, and I leave it to you to make the path for theater operations. So, yun ang relationship namin ni Ted. He really let me be. Yeah. And because of that, it was a big burden, but I thought that it was exciting. So
how many years was that, sir? From becoming his assistant from the beginning to that time when he asked you that he is leaving you at CCP?
1970. I joined in 1970, and then in 1975, I think, after the Miss Universe, when folk arts opened. 5 years, and then iniwan na niya ako, and we had our own departments to take care of. So,
Well, but of course you loved it when you...
oh yeah, definitely. I felt that it was the only thing that I had to do. It was the only passion that I had, because I took up lighting in college, although it was one course, one semester of lighting by a visiting professor from Northwestern.
Well, where did you take your lighting design course, sir? Or short course?
Really by experience.
By
experience. I had a year of special studies at the University of Hawaii, but that was primarily called stagecraft techniques. Pero ang orientation ko at that time was really lighting, but I had to study, carpentry and everything for theater.
So, sir, all your life, you dedicated it to the theater.
Yeah.
I met Sir Monino Duque kasi way back in 1996 when I did a play for the late Tony Mabesa in UP, and he lighted, fortunately, I was lighted by the great Monino Duque in one of my plays, and it was when I didn't know who Sir Monino Duque was until I asked, who is our lighting director? There were young lighting directors then in UP that nasanay tayong makatrabaho, and then Sir came in and he was there. Of course, we were, si Monino Duque yan. Ganito yan. So and then I see how close you were with Sir Tony Mabesa. And then the rest is history, na napakaganda po ng ilaw ng Philly 2, directed by Tony Mabesa, and it was written by Floy Quintos in 1996 in the University of the Philippines. So, sir, 52 years or 53 years that you have been doing this, is your passion still as great as it was when you began?
Let me put it this way. The passion is to making sure that the work that I do gives justice, to the production I'm working on. So the passion is there. It may have changed to a certain degree, kasi I just choose the shows that I like to work on now. And I've also digressed a little, but as you mentioned in the introduction, that I also now am lighting other than performances and theater and dance and opera. I also do lighting buildings and consultancy to light structures, And I also do weddings, light weddings, and because I think the lighting has a certain way of making things enhancing the beauty of something.
Yeah.
So I thought that I should just do that too. So that has opened other doors for me.
Speaking of that, sir, could you please describe to us, para sa ating mga nanonood, what is lighting design? In your words, sir.
Okay, let me compare it,
What's the importance of it?
Okay, let me compare it first. Ang lighting designer is the creative output from the designer. It is something that comes from the soul of the artist as the lighting designer. Whereas I would differentiate him from the technician.
Yes.
Who implements the design.
The design, yeah.
Okay? So that the electricians are there who are just as important as the designer. But the electricians will physicalize or will make the vision of the designer happen and work. So there's a very clear distinction. The board operator and the lighting designer are two different people. The board operator will run to make things happen that happened in the mind and that created the images of the lighting designer for a particular production or a particular event or a particular activity. So that would be the function of the lighting designer, to make sure lighting speaks. Lighting should say something. Lighting is not only a matter of course, primary function yan is for visibility, to making sure that you see what you are supposed to see at that particular time, either in the production or whatever. Pero the lighting should be able to speak the language that the director or the designer and the designer, that you're all on the same boat and that you're going the same direction.
Yeah.
You're the same destination. So lahat yan you should work together. I mean, again, lighting design, although independent, is collaborative also with the director and with the designer.
Yeah, because I remember during Philly 2, when we were in that costume na naka-garbage bag, cloak kami lahat, and you decide na parang we-norm mo yung special lights na ganyan. And Tony Mabesa blocked us according to how you design the light. Pwede pala yun, sir, that you design first and then the director will block the actors according to how you design the light.
Yes, but remember that prior to that, nag-usap na kami ni Tony. This is my vision. This is what I want to see. So it was still collaborative.
Collaborative.
So hindi naman he adjust. I mean, sometimes mag-adjust ang director. Like for example, sometimes it's a matter of 1 or 2 steps so that you're in light. Sometimes naman, kung hindi marunong yung actor mo, he will be off light. So kailangan ito sasabihin ng director, di ba? I mean, make sure you find your light.
Find your light. Very important.
Yep.
Yeah. So sir, yung nakita natin, you have discussed the objective of the lights, its importance. Yung process of collaboration, sir, how does it begin? Because syempre kaming mga actors, dumadating lang kami doon.
Tapos na.
Yung first rehearsal ba namin, nakapag-usap na ang director tsaka ang lights designer, sir?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Okay. Let me explain that. Working with Tony Mabesa, or maybe even with Floy Quintos, or even with other directors, is that initially they will say, "Oh, Monino, ikaw mag-iilaw ng production na to." Okay. After that, they will send me the materials. I will read the script, or I will watch the rehearsals if it were a dance or a ballet. And then, after a few rehearsals and after reading the script, I will talk to the director at sasabihin ko, "Alam mo, this is what this is the way I see it. Tama ba yun? Do you agree with that?" There will be directors that will say, "Yes, but this is what I want." And there are directors that will say, "No, it's your expertise. I leave you the liberty to do what you want to do." Okay. Because for as long as my vision is in your vision, then we are okay. We are on the same path.
I was just about to say, because you are Monino Duque, is outside of Tony Mabesa and Anton Juan and the senior directors, yung mga director ba na mas bata sa kanila, sir, Sir Monino, just light it. Do they give you that freedom,
yes,
sir, more?
Yes. Most of the people that I've worked with, except for one, I love to tell the story without having to mention names. I had just arrived from the States. And the director asked me, will you light this show for me? And I said, of course, yes. We were friends. And then in the process, I already knew what I want to do based on what he wanted. Pero later on, he kept telling me, "Oh, this is the way ganito dapat ang ilaw niyan. Ganito dapat ang gagawin mo. Ganito dapat." It came to a point na I said, sa loob ko, hindi ko na ilaw to. Ilaw mo na director. So sabi ko, you know what? I think it's better off that you don't need a designer, sabi ko. You need an electrician who can implement your design. Because that's not the way I see it. Although we may differ, but dapat we should agree. And since you insist on what you want to do, find an electrician or find somebody else that will do it.
So did you leave that production?
Yes.
Okay.
Early enough.
Yeah.
In fairness to the director.
Yeah.
Kasi,
how did he take it?
Okay, sabi naman niya. We're friends eh. Okay.
Alright. Well, that's one thing good with friends. You can tell each other what you want and nobody gets hurt.
Right.
Diba?
Right.
So sir, sa yung mga experiences mo and all of that, binanggit mo kanina that you also do the private sector parts. They consult you for lighting their buildings. In Malacanang, there was one time I was supposed to meet you, and you're in Malacanang redesigning the lights because President Marcos commissioned your service too. I was so excited to see it. How does it work between that kind of sector, you as a lighting designer? How do you handle such process?
I am lucky enough that they trusted me without having to stay at my back and say this is the way we want it. Actually, it was Irene Marcos who asked me to do it, and her line, Monino, please, can you do something about the palace for the inauguration? Kasi medyo malungkot ang itsura niya. So okay, sabi ko, sure, I'd love to do it. So that's how it all started, no? And then when I was only doing the interiors initially, and then later on, sabi ko, you know what? I was talking with a social secretary who's a wonderful person, you know, who supports what I always suggest. Sabi ko, you know, I think we should relight the building. Because parang it needs a little, you know, adjustment. And sure, Monino, I need it to be more warm kasi it's a little too cold, sabi niya. So that was the template that I was working on. Her instructions was to make it warm and make it look alive, make it look like a people's palace,
people's palace,
you know,
yeah.
for people to appreciate what they have, because it's, of course, it has a long history.
Yeah.
And it's also the head of, I mean, you know, it's the presidential
There it is,
residence.
sir, the Malacanang Palace.
Yeah.
Look what that is your work, sir. Yeah. that this is the time that you told me that Peter, I just bought 1,200 bulbs today. I think this was the time.
Yeah.
You see mga katwiti and the work of Monino Duque right there. Wow.
Yeah,
How long did it take you to beautify the palace, sir?
That's the Goldenberg, which is a work in progress. Now that's the palace from the view of from the other side.
From Pasig River,
yeah.
no? This is the main
Yes,
alley.
this is the reception hall.
The corridor.
This is the reception hall. Yeah.
I haven't been inside the Malacanang ever. Yeah.
It took me quite a while kasi I had to look at I didn't want to spend, for one thing. I wanted to use what was available. And it was just retweaking some of it. Of course, there were a few items that we needed to buy, like equipment to light up the garden and equipment to light up a few things. But basically, it was what the palace had already. Now, as far as the interiors were concerned, we just changed the bulbs. 1,200 at something bulbs. Pero considering that the bulbs will last long.
Yeah.
So, malaking investment din yon, long term.
Yeah.
No? Although, hindi naman ganun ka-expensive. Kasi I was always conscious that you know, this is expense on the part of the palace. So let's try to keep it within
But I think
limits.
there is nothing wrong if you're going to beautify what represents our country as the
true.
seat of power of the president.
Yeah,
and
right.
everybody goes there.
Right,
Delegates from countries, presidents from another nation.
Right.
And I think it is but right that we make it beautiful.
Right.
Diba, sir?
Last year nga, yung Peter, when it was first opened to the public, it was before Christmas, and thanks to the president, because he felt dapat makita ng tao itong palasyong ito. So they
Pwede ko
opened,
ba makita, sir?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Sasama po ako kay Sir Monino.
Sure.
Papuntang Malacanang. Magpapapicture ako sa mga ilaw. Ay, di ba ako pagalitan ni Madam Lisa?
They opened it for Christmas from
they do.
From 7 yata ng gabi up till simbang gabi. Open to the public.
The gardens.
Yeah, the grounds. Open to the public.
Wow, look at that. What is that, sir?
That's the Maharlika Hall.
The Maharlika Hall.
Yeah.
This is where all the events are happening, right, sir?
Yes, for special events. Sometimes dyan they have special activities. Sometimes non-state dinners, kasi the dinners have to be in the ceremonial hall. Pero yan yung alternative venue.
This is the main entrance.
Yes, that's the grand staircase.
Okay. Magpapapicture ako dyan. Sa pagbabalik po ng 3 p.m. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, more of Sir Monino Duque and Light That Breathes. Magbabalik po kami.
There is no country like the Philippines. This is the most beautiful country in the world.
Dapat lahat ng Pilipino magmahal sa Pilipinas.
365 days, 52 weeks, 8,760 hours, 24/7 uninterrupted service, all in the service of God and country. Indeed made a significant difference for the Philippines and the lives of every Filipino. But we will not stop here. This is just the beginning.
We already have that image right now of SMNI, that SMNI is only standing for the truth. That SMNI and its credibility is inviolable. That SMNI and its integrity is not for sale. That is the image that SMNI right now, because credibility to us is more than 1 billion pesos, as long as our credibility stands, that we are telling only the truth. That's why the tagline of SMNI is truth that matters.
For nation building, for upholding truth over narrative, for our beloved country, this is SMNI.
Nagbabalik po at 3 p.m. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Still with Sir Monino Duque. Magbabasa lang tayo ng isang comment from our mga ka-3 p.m. kasi highly interactive po ang ating programa, sir. Sabi ni Josie Di Guzman from Caloocan City, "Hello, Direk Peter and Direk Monino. Magandang gabi po. Bilang isang lighting designer at stage director, ano po ba ang mga kwalifikasyon para maging isang kagaya niyong alagad ng sining sa inyong larangan? Ano-ano po ba ang challenges ng isang lighting designer at stage director? Maraming salamat po, 3 p.m. SMNI. You're welcome, sir. Qualification daw.
Mahirap, it's hard for me to say sana na you need to study. No? Although a lot of people think na ang pag-iilaw ay, inaaral. I mean, like before, without having to knock them down. Because Teddy did not go to school, but he was tops. Mm-hmm. The first people that lighted productions, mga electricians, yung mga rental companies. There were only 3 at that time. Pero ang qualifications? Ang qualifications is you must, unang-una, you have the passion. Huwag malugmok sa pera.
Yun.
Kasi ngayon may shortcut. You study a little lighting and then you do all the commercials. You do all the and I think that to give justice to the craft, it took a long time to develop. It takes a long time to develop, especially lighting, kasi medyo you see it once. It only happens once. And if it does not happen correctly, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
The mistake, it stays there. It stays in the memory. So it's not something like painting and you can redo it kasi physically
paint over
nandyan.
it, tapos do it
Correct.
again. Yeah.
But for lighting, when you see it on stage, that's it. You don't see it another time. So you have to you as a craft person or somebody interested in lighting, is you must have the passion to really study the material, listen to your soul. Kasi ang pag-iilaw hindi lang turn on, turn off, hindi lang kulay, hindi lang instrumento, pero dapat nanggagaling sa loob.
Sa puso.
It must come from your soul, because I think that lighting has a soul of its own, and it should speak to your audience without shouting.
Yes.
Okay. Kasi may danger kasi to magnakaw ng eksena.
Exactly.
With all the movement and the change of color and the going like this and the going like that.
The flashes.
Correct. Pero madali yun eh. But what is hard is when you do not see the lighting and you only feel it.
You only feel it.
You
Parang good musical score, sir, di ba?
Correct.
Parang you hear it, you feel it, but it doesn't actually make you focus on it, di ba, sir?
It does not call attention to itself.
Yeah, it doesn't call attention to itself.
So,
Thank you, sir.
I think yun ang kailangan if you want to study lighting, and then be serious about it. Your best teacher after you take an honest to goodness course is life. You look around you, look at the times of day. Bakit ganito ang ilaw ng ganitong oras?
Yeah.
Bakit ganitong ilaw kapag makulimlim?
Yeah, yes, sir. That's the magic of it. Whenever we do a scene, pagka daylight, it feels like daylight.
Yeah.
Only if it is nighttime and if it is stormy,
Iba rin.
iba rin. It feels like it is nighttime and stormy, and it gives you that. Kasi po, as sinabi ko doon sa opening, importante sa aming mga aktor yun eh. Kasi that's where we will feel the scene. So sir, paano niyo yung pinoproseso yan sa isip ninyo? Kasi it's just amazing to see na nangyayari siya right before our eyes.
With a lot of thinking and a lot of planning. Unang-una, kailangan alam mo talaga kung ano ang nangyayari sa stage. Kung ano talaga yung sinasabi in dance, kung ano talaga ang sinasabi ng sayaw. Kasi sometimes the dance, you don't really see, but you only feel it. You only understand it when you see the dance. Ganun din dapat ang lighting na tumutulong in bringing out the soul. Again, let me tell you that each lighting designer should have their own language.
Yeah.
Okay, na isang lighting designer, siyang nag-ilaw niyan, hindi si ganito. Now, that is, you achieve that by learning and creating the language of your own. No? Which takes a while to develop,
master.
To master, yeah.
How long did it take you to actually, I can actually handle this already? How many years? Bago ka naging very, very confident, sir?
Hindi pa rin ako confident.
Hindi pa rin?
Hindi pa rin.
See, that is humility.
I go home, I always tell, even this apprentice that I have, I always tell him, look, after a production, huwag kang maniwala sa sinabi nila ng ganda ng ganito, ang ganda. You say, thank you, but at the back of your mind, what is it that I could have done
better
to make it better?
Yeah.
nothing is really perfect. And that is what makes theater exciting, because it happens for a moment and then you go home and say, could it have been better? Yeah, it could have been better.
But
Now,
it was okay.
Yes. And parang danger dyan kasi is you keep on, if you open your say, you have to have the discipline to say, tama na. This is it. There is something more that I can do. But this is it. I have a time frame, I have to follow. And for you to be able to say that, you have to be confident na ginawa mo ang homework mo. So sabi mo, extra na lang yung other things that you want. But then again, you must always have the humility to say na it's not, there's more to learn, there's more to give.
Yeah.
There's more to study. Para sa akin, hindi pa kompleto eh. I still learn every day from just by observing the things that happen around me.
Yeah.
You know, the lighting, the afternoons and the evenings.
Yeah.
Even when I'm driving at home, I always see, observe what's happening in terms of lights.
Sir, sa atin ngayon, dito sa ating Philippine status and world standard of staging and lighting, are we now competitive with the international, let's do Broadway or Singapore productions? Wag na natin ilayo, Singapore productions, kasi madalas din sila dun gumawa ng plays, or Guam. Are we competitive already with them in terms with that speciality of stage and lighting direction?
Yes and no. Yes, in a sense that we are capable. Kaya natin. Maybe the limitation is that we don't have the advantage and the luxury of time. Okay. What do I mean by that? In other countries, they devote, maybe Broadway will devote months and months of rehearsals for lighting, no? Dito, how much time do you have? 2 days?
2 days on
2 days,
stage.
3 days. So that presumes that you have studied your production so well. You have studied your homework so that you know exactly what instruments to use. You know exactly where to position them. Like in this studio, it's wonderful kasi ang ganda ng lighting positions dahil it erases all the lines of the 75 years of my life because it's really straight on.
Oh,
so ang ganda.
So alam mo yan,
all the soft
alam mo
lights.
yan, sir, that,
Yeah. So abroad kasi they have all the time. Pero kaya natin. We are competitive.
We are competitive.
We are competitive.
So with the young lighting directors ngayon, kasi ito yung mga nakasama ko rin nung bata ako. There's John Batalya, there's Shakira Villa, is she still the only woman in lighting designing arena? Si Shari?
Well, there's Barbie.
Oh!
There's Barbie, yeah?
Barbie is already
nag-aral yan ng
Sobra ko nang detached. Tapos and then there's Voltaire de Jesus and there's Om David.
Yes,
and their apprentices are already making a name amongst themselves.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot, sir, but I will anyway. So, sino yung paborito mo dun sa mga binanggit kong names? At least the 4 top.
Will I be safe? Alam mo, kanya-kanyang expertise yan.
Yeah.
Kanya-kanyang, magaling si ganito for something, magaling si ganito for something. Each one have their own specialization at kung saan sila magaling, no? If you were to ask me, I think I like all of them, except na sometimes they go astray. In a sense na they do not maybe watch all rehearsals when it's necessary for them to watch rehearsals.
Okay.
But
Complacent,
again,
parang ganon, sir.
But then again, that's their choice, and I respect that. That's how they go about it, and then well and good.
So, sir, ikaw, you also direct stage plays, musicals, ballets, opera. You direct those as well, di ba, sir?
I only, hindi ko kaya mag-direct ng play.
Oh.
No, I don't. No? Hindi ko rin kaya mag-direct na. Maybe I could opera, but I have not done it. I direct.
Dance.
Not even, because you don't direct dance, Peter. You have a choreographer.
Yeah.
You have a choreographer who stages it, or they can get somebody that will stage the choreography, but that is seldom done.
Yeah.
I direct like shows for. Alam mo, ang probinsyano ako by heart. So I love the beladas. I love the big shows of the province. So I direct the ano pang tawag mo dyan? Yung mga palabas sa probinsya ng, for example.
Parang sarsuela ba yan, sir?
Hindi,
Parang
parang review.
Oh,
Musical reviews.
okay,
I love
review.
doing music. That's my orientation.
Parang vaudeville, parang ganun, sir.
Yeah, well, concerts in a way. You know, concerts. I love to do those things.
Do you, pag nagdedirect ka ba, let's say, nagdedirect ka ng concert, do you require a separate lighting designer?
Yeah.
Hindi na ikaw yun?
Hindi na. Kasi even when I get the lighting designer to do what I direct, I always tell him, okay, this is what I want, and then I leave. Bahala na siya. Hindi ko na siya pakikialaman.
Okay.
Because let him blossom. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you get him, because you trust him. I choose you because I trust in your work and I believe in your work. Now, during the rehearsals, if there is something that I need na hindi ko nakikita, sasabihin ko. But more often than not, it's very minor. I need a
So gumagawa ka, sir, ng another you, kung baga. Dinuduplicate mo yung sarili mo in discovering talents.
Hindi. I just let them be. I just let them be. I am lucky, after so many years, I have found an apprentice who I feel will be able to continue my kind of thinking, and it took me a long time to find the person. So,
wow.
So
You're lucky.
there. I mean, I'm trying to develop. At 75, it's sunset time.
Yeah.
So kailangan there should be somebody to take over. I mean, there are a lot who can do it, but I found a particular person to do it.
Okay, we will read one more message from our ka-3 PM from Marites Moso from Calatagan, Batangas. Makapunta na po ako sa iba't ibang bansa. May balak po bang magkaroon ng light show na may kasamang awit sa Malacanang at gawin ito bilang tourist attraction at maging instrumento din sa edukasyon at kamalayan sa kasaysayan? Kudos 3 PM team. Thank you. Meron daw ba parang light show? Parang ginagawa ni Voltaire sa Makati Lights dance every December.
Well, I hope I hope that hindi kasi the palace is not a space where you can do a light show.
Oh.
I mean, you could, but I think the palace should be presented the way it is.
Hindi siya amusement park.
Oo, hindi siya amusement park. Tama ka, hindi amusement park. So, I think the palace should just be lit the way it should be. As a palace, as a residence of the seat of power.
Yeah.
So
sir, saan po ba mas maganda mag-training nito? Do you advise that they actually go to school? Because this is now being taught in school.
Yeah.
I think LaSalle is teaching this, UP is teaching this.
Yeah, there are colleges, yeah.
Do you believe that they have to go to school and formal school?
Yes.
Kasi ikaw practical ka di ba, sir? Yung training mo?
Yes, pero importante. Although I did practical, I had to do studies. I went to school for special courses on lighting. Pero importante kasi dapat grounded ka with your education. Grounded dapat, yung aesthetics mo is developed because you are grounded in terms of the principles and the aesthetics of lighting. That you need to learn before you can experiment, before you can express yourself. Kasi yun ang instrumento ng utak mo to be able to execute and to be able to design. I mean, lighting is like painting.
Exactly.
That you paint compositions, you paint, your brush strokes are your colors, and your intensities and ano. Mas active nga lang yan kasi nag-change ang intensity ng ilaw, nag-change ang kulay. There is a blue that goes a whole range from a very light blue to a very dark blue. Okay? So, yun ang iyong instrument. So, and for you to be able to use that correctly, you have to understand your equipment. What your equipment does. Ano ang attributes ng equipment na ito. What can this moving head with all these patterns do that you can use to express yourself?
Yeah.
And that is based on your understanding of the principles of lighting, which you get from school.
We're having the master class here, mga ka-3PM, on lighting design. Ngayon, sir, from professional level to the ordinary Juan de la Cruz, at their very own homes. Kasi ikaw nakita ko na ilaw sa bahay mo. So I haven't been there personally, but I see it when you post it. This is a house of a lighting designer. Para sa mga hindi lighting designer like me, mga ordinaryo mga ka-3PM natin dyan, what can you suggest them to do if they want to have better lighting in their house? Kasi iba rin po, di ba sir, kapag maganda yung ilaw ng bahay mo, masarap uwian.
Marami kang naitatago.
Ayun.
Unang-una, I think when you're sa bahay, kailangan maganda yung nakatira. Gumaganda dahil sa ilaw dapat. So ako, I do not recommend using top lights in houses. It's nice.
Yung direkta. Okay.
It's nice to have them there, but I do not use them kasi the best lighting position for a house are really lamps. Eye level, face level, whether you're standing or sitting down, because that really makes you look good. Now, if you have light on top of you, you will have all your shadows. Kasi ang ilaw bumabagsak from the top. So nagkakaroon ka ng shadows.
Okay.
Your lines are more visible.
So don't bring a date in your home tapos top light ang ilaw mo.
That's one. You do not avoid using fluorescent lights. Because
Or white lights.
Or white light, because white light is not nice on the skin. Dapat warm lights. Because that's why, yes, it's warmer on the skin. You look better in warm light, and it's also slightly more dramatic. Kumbaga. A white light, I hate using white light because I associate it with morgue and hospitals and clinics, di ba? Ganun ang ilaw. So iniiwasan ko yon because hindi naman ang bahay should not.
Ako din wala po akong puting ilaw sa bahay ko.
Eye level palagi para maganda ka. Para your face looks good.
Yeah. So, sir, dito sa lahat ng experiences mo as a lighting director for more than half a century. So, you have been doing this masterfully. Ano, sir, yung mabibilin mo, kagaya nung nagtanong sa atin kanina, sa mga gustong, kasi mga ka-3PM, ang mag-ilaw po is a noble work. Kasi kayo po ang nag-aayos ng mga itsura ng mga nandoon sa entablado. Kayo isa rin po yan sa nagbibigay ng kulay, emosyon, ng galaw, yung pagpapalit ng araw, pagpapalit ng panahon. Sa ilaw lang po na-achieve yan. Hindi po namin yan ma-achieve kung acting lang.
Correct.
Diba, sir? Pwede nagiginaw-ginawang kami, pero hindi yan makikita na audience kasi walang ilaw na gumagabay. So, sir, ano yung pinakagusto mong ibilin sa mga gustong tahakin ang pagiging lighting designer? Kasi mas marami yung gustong mag-artista, gustong ganito. But for me, isa sa pinakamaganda talaga is becoming a lighting designer.
Well, kailangan nandun yung passion mo. You're really interested in making people look good. You have to have, as I said again, you have to have the passion and the humility to learn every single day of your life in understanding understanding how lighting changes the environment that you live in. It is important for you to understand that every everything that you see around you is an instrument of learning on how to improve your craft as a lighting person. After all, the greatest lighting designer is up there. And you learn from him. You learn on how he does his lighting.
Exactly.
Diba? So, para sa akin, yun ang pinaka importante that I try to see and I try to study. Sometimes, you get inspired.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember a moment, I mean, a little bragging, but there was a moment that I was traveling from Paris to Spain. And I took a long train, and it was one of the most beautiful sunsets that I ever saw. in
Paris?
Europe. From Paris to Spain on a
Paris to
train.
Spain. Yeah.
So you know that memory of mine of that sunset is what I used when I was trying to light Don Quixote, the ballet. Because it opens, the ballet opens with an afternoon setting. And that was very clear in my mind. And I said, this will be my template to light Don
Minsan kasi,
Quixote.
sir, whenever I watch a play, a production, and then everything like that, a ballet, theater, nakukuha talaga ninyo, sir, yung mood, yung ilaw. So when you remember like that sunset from Paris to Spain, na nakita mo that the sun is almost dropping out, kasi doon nagburst ng color, how do you remember those colors? How do you even come up with a replica on stage?
You don't, Peter. You as like a painter, you already see it. Only you can see it that way when you translate it onto stage. But the inspiration comes from that moment. Parang you get the feeling na I want to repeat that feeling of that particular sunset. So in that way, yan yung sinasabi ko kanina na very personal ang lighting. It's based on your experience. It's based from your soul.
Wow. Wow. That's beautiful, sir.
Maybe that's why also I've lasted that long, because I take my craft seriously.
You do,
And
sir.
I
You
think
do.
that is what, I mean, the young lighting designers should, I mean, it's nice to make a lot of money. I mean, it's really great to make a lot of money when you go into, pero I don't know if it really feeds your soul.
Yeah.
As an artist, as a lighting designer.
Yeah.
And for me, that is the most important aspect that I try to...
Meron nga kaming kasabihan, mga ka-3PM, na sa arts or ang sining, hindi mo binibenta at hindi mo pinupolitika. Because once you do that, it destroys the whole purpose of the art, the whole gift of it, di ba, sir?
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, I think as a lighting designer, I have a responsibility to the country, no? Kasi if in your soul and in your spirit you are able to achieve a certain level of excellence, that hopefully can inspire people and make them better human beings because they experience the same experience that you have, then you help in creating a nation that is noble.
Wow, I was just about to ask you that on nation building, and you delivered it, sir.
And it is a responsibility.
It is.
Not only in terms of the discipline that you develop.
Yeah.
You must inspire. Kasi if you give the people around us something to be noble about, then they become better human beings. Maybe then because you're a better human being, you create a better life, and then you create a better country. I think.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. I think that is Sir Monino's final words for us tonight. Before we go, I would just like to greet yung ating mga loyal na mga ka-3PM who's always here from the 2 years that we have been on, because I really would want to pay tribute to all of you. Yung from the very beginning 2 years ago, you have been here with me up to now. There is Mama D, Carla Ricaforte, Brilao, Irene, Zun, at my best friend yan from high school, Balao, Makalisang Tiva, si Madre Gracia, si Grace, one of my good friends in high school, Maite, Let's Can, Suzette Gangan, Leslie, Joan Ramos, Olivia Alhay, Petit Garden, Crank Brothers Vlog, Filomena Villanueva, Julie Odra, hi Tita Julie, Juveline Imperial, Enrique Sibulo, Mirna Ilogon Habakon, Lester Zoldik, Marites Bichara, hi Marites, Carlo V.E.Y., Lala Dario Tayaben, Gemma Merly, Jamie Dalag, Romar Edosma, at iba pa nating mga ka-3PM na nandyan. Maraming salamat na hanggang ngayon. Nandyan kayo, sinasamahan nyo ako na nandito na tayo sa SMNI. Dasal natin lahat ito eh. And before I go, I would like to thank my sponsor for my shirts, Prince Gerald. Ayan po ang kanyang number. Please take a screenshot or watch the replay. Thank you, Ria, for all your printing needs. And also, I would like to thank Blushmit Catering and Events. To avail of their services, please get in touch with Miss Star Dakanay, the best caterer and party handler right there in right on that side of Barangay South Triangle. Thank you, Star. Thank you. Samantala, sir, bago po tayo tuluyang magtapos para sa ating Christmas countdown, ilang days na lang tayo? We have 68 days, sir, before Christmas. Merry Christmas, Sir Monino.
Merry Christmas. We'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas. At maraming salamat, sir, for being here. It is such an honor.
It was an honor for me. Thank you for having me, Peter. Thank you to the viewers. Support the program. It's a good one.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. At yan po ang ating naging talakayan ngayong gabi, mga ka-3PM. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay sa ating programa. Samahan nyo kami tuwing Lunes, Miyerkules at Huwebes, alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng gabi. At syempre, maraming salamat po muli, Pastor, sa pagkakataon na binigay ninyo sa akin upang maging bahagi dito sa SMNI para sa Diyos at sa Pilipinas nating mahal. At mga ka-3PM, lagi nating tatandaan, iisa lang ang ating bayan na dapat nating pangalagaan. Kaya't bago ang ano paman, bago ang sarili pagkatapos sa Panginoon. Pilipinas muna. Magandang gabi po at maraming salamat.